So one of the most talked about topics in the NBA right now is who's going to make the playoffs in the West. It's such a tough race, tight race, and one of the most asked questions about that race is if the Timberwolves are finally going to make the playoffs. Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome to my thoughts on the question if the Timberwolves are going to make the playoffs. As a Timberwolves fan, I think we are going to make the playoffs. I think it's just a matter of what seed we'll get. But there are some reasons that make me think this, and I'll go over them. The first of all, the Spurs are struggling, and it's hard to bet against the Spurs because the Spurs are the Spurs, and they'll figure it out one way or another. But at this point, I think this might be the season that the Spurs don't make it in with all their injuries and stuff like that. They'll have a hard chance of getting over these teams that are on hot streaks and that are just doing good at this point, so they might be one of the teams to miss out. But I still think they might pull it through in one way or another because of Greg Popovich. You can never bet against the Spurs, so I think that's a reason that the Spurs might fall out, so that gives another spot for someone else to get in. And see, the Wolves still have more wins than everyone. They're tied with the losses, so for a lot of teams to be tied with the Wolves, they have to win 3 games in a row, and that's kind of hard to do at this point in the season, where all these teams are fighting to get into the playoffs. They're desperate, and factors like that. It's hard to win three straight if you're battling against a desperate 8th seed or something like that. I mean, the Blazers are on a roll. They'll probably win 3 straight even though they're ahead in the standings, but looking at teams like Denver and Utah, and I think they'll have a harder chance at winning 3 to tie with the Timberwolves. What a lot of people don't understand is the Timberwolves aren't like a terrible team without Jimmy Butler. We're not as good as a team without Jimmy Butler, but we can still win games. Towns and Wiggins have another year under them. They're not giving up huge leads, but we have veterans. We have good players on the team that can win games and know how to win games, and especially players like Taj and Jeff Teague. You can't bet against Jeff Teague when he's been in the playoffs each year of his career. And then we just have a lot of veterans that know how to win, and we won't be choking big leads. And then we have Towns and Wiggins to take over. We're not a bad team. We can still win games, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, we won against the Warriors, so you can't bet against the Timberwolves at all. Even the players on the bench are a lot better, like having Jamal Crawford on the bench, having Bjelica on the bench, having Jang off the bench instead of starting like he did last year. It's helping us, so we have better supporting cast than last year, so we won't be choking away leads. We will have better closeouts in games, and we'll be playing better defense, and we'll just be playing better all around basketball even without Jimmy Butler. One player that's kind of comes to mind when I think of just smart basketball and end of game situations is Tyus Jones, because he just plays smart basketball at all times. He passes well, he plays defense, he's a really good defender. He hits shots when he needs to. He'll hit a big 3, he'll have an easy mid-range shot, he'll just pass, make a good pass. So he's just a player you want at the end of the game just to be able to pull out the win, because he will make a smart play every time. He's a very smart basketball player. And even players like Towns, like against the Warriors late game, he came up clutch, and we've seen Wiggins come up clutch, so I'm not too worried about end of game situations. At the end of our schedule, the last 7 games, they're not hard games. We play the Nuggets a couple times, I think, and they're going to be a hard team because they're going to be desperate, but we're going to be desperate too, probably because we don't know unless we clinch. But we play like the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Hawks, I think we play, so it's not a tough schedule at the end, so I think we can pull out as many wins as we need from those games. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Timberwolves making the playoffs. I think we will make the playoffs. I think there's no doubt in my mind that we will. Just depends which seed we get. There are some games are going to be hard because they're going to be desperate teams, but if we play like a desperate team too, we'll end up winning a lot like we did against the Warriors. And a couple games coming up, we might be able to steal one because just playing desperate and playing like we want to win, and the players look like they want to win, so I'm not too worried about that. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out.